whenever you start the code or whenever you start UiPath Studio, this is what you will see. If you already have a project that's already created, like which I have now, I can see a window like this. Click on open main file, main workflow, which shows me a main workflow or some main file. Okay, if I want to create some subfiles or if I want to create any other files, I can even do that. For today's meeting, let me create a new sequence or okay. So here you can see different type of options, like different type of workflows that you can create: a sequence, a flowchart, a state machine, global handler, test case, data driven test case. Test case and data driven test case will be covered in the 4th day of the session, exactly 2 days from now. But let's take a sequence. So why or when do we need to use sequence? So let's give it a name, day 2. Okay. So I'm hoping this to be an interactive session. If you want to do on your machines along with me, you are free to do that. Please do that. On the left side, as I have said, there are multiple activities. There is attach browser, sequence, write line, and type into everything. So what we will do today is, let's open a Internet Explorer. In this Internet Explorer, let's open Google, or what can we open? Okay. Uh, Dynamic name or fake name generator, or fake name or random name generator. See, there are multiple ways where we can extract the details. Okay, but what is the main difference between sequence, flowchart, and state machine? You need to use sequence when you have a sequence of steps. For example, here we have this particular gender, name set, and country. So the first step I need to do to generate some options is I need to select something from dropdown 1, 2, and 3. So these 3 can be placed in one sequence. But after completing that, I need to have some decision box or to check whether that person, for example, this particular person name starts with R. If the name starts with R, then I need to move that all the details in separate file. Or if the names don't start with R, it should go into a separate file. So that is what my use case is. So these all are the use cases that we normally see. Take the examples of your use cases or something that you will use in your regular work so that you can relate how I can use this. See, the best way where we can get all the data is go to recordings. So basic is something that generates selectors. So I have shown you UiPath Explorer. So there are a lot of things that we are going to cover today. So please ask questions in between. That's fine. Indicate on screen. So I can indicate anything on the screen, and you can see here that there is a select, and in that select we have multiple options. First option, if you double click on it, there is random. Second option, if I double click, there is male. Third option, if I double click, it is female. So if you go back to Internet Explorer, in the drop down you can see random male and female. So that's what you can see. It will be like a complete tree structure where you can find all the details regarding one particular application. And now coming back to
So
recording. Yes, go ahead.
quick question, Manish. So
Yes, go ahead.
this tree structure which is there, it's
Okay.
based on, I mean, based on how the tool identifies that particular select drop down.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. Now, when we open this particular URL, if you see in the console or in the DOM structure, you will be having a HTML structure, like first head tag, then internal tags. Okay. So this is the structure that is actually shown, but it in a tree form.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Okay, the same structure will be shown, but the only thing is it will recognize that this is from Internet Explorer. See, if you can see here on the top, it is saying HTML. For Windows application, or from, let's take an example of calculator. So if I take calculator as an example, and if I click on indicate element, and if I click on standard, the selector changes. Or see, we have window app now. For Citrix, it will be window Citrix application. Okay, and in the same way, UiPath recognizes this as a header, and the name is standard calculator mode. So these are the names that developers provide while creating these applications. And UiPath, I have, for example, this is one of the tab. Now I open a different tab. Let me open a different tab. I clicked on it. Okay, so let's go to, okay, for this, taking this as an example, now let's pull back our UiPath Explorer and let's see with this election 2020. Now see the title. Title is new tab. If you go back with Internet Explorer, the title is new tab. But for this particular tab, the title will be name tab generator or generate random name. Okay, generate random name is the name for it, name for that particular tab. So we need to identify, or as a developers, while developing the solutions, we need to identify how to properly create these selectors. So if we are able to properly create these selectors, then it will be easier. For example, let's assume that there are multiple selectors. Now UiPath detects in such a way that it gives the IDs. For example, tab 1, ID 1, tab 2, ID 2, tab 3, ID 3. In that same way, you can check whether which tab it belongs to. But as we proceed with more complex explanations or more complex scenarios, we will be easily able to understand how exactly we need to check with these details. Okay, let me continue. And since I'm using Internet Explorer or any kind of web application, I can go directly to web, which gives me some specific options for me to check. Now see, I can directly open a browser or click or type anything I can do, but the easiest way is to record. Click on random. Now it will select. Okay, here it is showing me random male and female. Which one do you want to select? I want to select male and click on OK. Now here in this American, now it will give me options again. Okay, which one I need to select? Even if I want to dynamically select something, that can also be possible. But for now, let's check only with the recording. And with United States, yes, I can check on that as well. And click on Australia. I want Australia to be selected and clicked on OK. And finally, I need to generate. Okay. And here I can click on generate. Now it will show me again what I can do. Okay. So again, it gave me highlight option. When I press on escape, again, there are two ways or multiple ways to stop the recording. If you press left click of your mouse, even then it will be stopped. Press escape, even then it will be stopped. And press on save and exit. So when I press save and exit, see the changes it made. It attached a browser or taken the existing session, selected 3 different items, and even here we can select which type of option do we need to get. Clicking on generate, and even before opening or attaching the browser, let's assume that we don't have a browser. So let's assume that we need to open a browser. So there will be an option called open browser, and in this browser you can directly give the URL of what you exactly require. So if I click here and fake name generator, copy this, and if I can paste it here, and I can close this. I can close all the tabs. Okay, now you can see that I have open browser, and once I open the browser, I'm attaching the browser. or else I can keep everything on the first activity itself. But since I have recorded, it came with attached browser. Okay. Now in the debug, see, there are multiple options again. Breakpoint, you can keep breakpoints at one place. For example, if I click here and if I click on breakpoint, then there will be a breakpoint option where the bot will stop the execution. Here's slow step, which decides how much speed the bot should run. So for now there are 4 speeds. If you just turn it off, that it will run on default debug speed. And execution trial, it shows you with a tick mark on the activities, which activity ran successfully. Highlight elements, it will show you which activity, or for example, it's selecting this random item. It will show you that random item is being selected and it will select the item. And log activities, see in the output, if you want to log specific activities or any type of activities that are being performed, you need to log this on, turn this on so that it will be logged. If you turn it off, then nothing will be logged in. And continue on exception. Let's assume that there is an exception. And if you want bot to run on its own, then while debugging, you can turn this off. So it will continue the execution. But if you turn this on, whenever there is an exception, bot will stop and you can see what exception is and you can handle that exception. See, I don't have Internet Explorer now. Let me run. I can run in multiple ways. If you press run project, then it will obviously run main. But if you click on run file, then it will run only this file. Even if you debug, it will start running from main. So let me run with run file. But the problem with run file is I will not be able to see debug actions like highlighting of elements. Those I cannot see, but the bot will run. So the bot opened this particular website. Now we need the bot to select random generator or select gender, name and country. Let's wait. Okay. Okay. So it's done. And here you can see with the state. Here we have whenever this particular generate is clicked, you can see here name sets apply to this country, Australian, and you can see all the Australian names details. Okay, name, ID and phone number, everything you can get it from here. Okay, now here is my requirement. Now let's go back to UiPath, and as you are seeing, all this is in a sequence. Now, can I create a flowchart inside a sequence? Yes, that is possible. And can you create a state machine inside a sequence? Yes, even that's possible. So you can incorporate any type of workflow model into any type of workflow model. And here, what did I do? I created in this particular sequence, I created a browser, and in that browser, I added 3 activities to enter and to get the details. Now I need to get the details. So for that, I can again check or go to design, record. Again, I'm going for web record, and I need to copy the text or I need to get the text. What text I need to get? I need to get this first name. For now, let's take only the first name. Copy. Report Matis. Do you want to use an anchor? So what an anchor is, if there is any label, then we can use an anchor. For now, don't show this and click on no and click on save. See, check what I did. I did only attach, I extracted only H3 element. Let me sequence where you can just see everything in a block. But after selecting or after extracting this particular H3, the value is H. See, automatically the variables are created called H, as well as attached browser is also selected again. Now, if you go into the edit selector, you can see here the IDX is 1 and tag is H3. And if you click on highlight element, it is showing you report marks. Now, if I click on generate again, let's click on generate again. So it gives me a new value. So here we have a new value. Now let's check, or since the browser is updated, let's check whether this is valid again. Yes, it is checking only the h3 element of the page. Okay, so let's click on OK. So here we are getting h3 value, and here you can see there is a output variable that is created. You can see all the variables at one place called variables panel. Here I can select and change it as full name. Normally I do it in best coding practice. So it is a string which I'm going to get. So it is str and full name. Now when I click on enter, the name or the variable also changes at this place. So whenever you change something in variables, that name, whatever matching name is available, that also will be updated. Now here my requirement is, whenever there is a name that is having a in it, I need to move, or I need to move to different paths. So let's go back to flowchart. Let's add a flowchart. I can click on this plus button and I can just add flowchart. Now here in this flowchart, now if you expand, see there is a start option which says that, okay, from here it will start and it's blank. Now I can drag this particular activities here, or this particular sequences on the top, and I can just drag and link them. So whenever I drag and link them, it will be automatically assigned or aligned, and I can create the links like this. Or if I want to delete this link, I can delete, and I can hover on the activity. I can also create a link like this. Okay. Now what am I doing? I am extracting a name, and that name has a scope. See, what is the scope now? So think like this is some parent-child relationship. The flowchart is a scope, and inside that flowchart, these are the children. So these children also has some children activities, but they are limited to only web. But if I want to access it to flowchart, then I need to change the scope from here to flowchart or to the next level, day 2. For now, I'm checking day 2. Now here, what I require, I need to verify or check if that name has some value called a in it. So what I can do, I can directly check for decision box. Let's say that if, when I say if, I can drag and drop it here. But again, if is also a sequence or a activity. But for flowchart, if you press on flowchart, if you type in flowchart, there are 3 activities on the left side: flow decision, flow switch, and flowchart. So what you're seeing now is a flowchart, which is like a container. Flow decision is like an if else condition, and flow switch is like a switch statement. Okay. When we write with flow decision, we need to write multiple conditions. If this, then that. If not this, then other thing. If not that, then the other thing. But if you want to have some specific words, and if you want to move with specific words, for example, if it is 1, I need to go to some specific sequence. If it is 2, then I need to go to some specific sequence. In that same way, if I want to have some conditions, then I can go with switch. But if you see here, this is an activity here again. In the properties, I can check. The false label is what on the right side. You can change it to false or whatever you want. On the true label is true. And here we can see the condition. So what condition here is? Here we need to write. So what do we have till now? We have string full name. Here we need to use some kind of coding, but we can understand the coding. We want to see if it contains something with a letter called A. So I can directly write contains and keep a double quote and write A in it. Okay, so if this gets to true, then whatever we have on the true statement executes on the true. If it is on the false, executes on the false. So what I'll do, I'll keep a message box. For now, let's keep a message box. Okay, And in this message box, what we will do is I will just type in specific items or specific text. We have A in it. And even I can directly copy this and paste here, and I can drag to the right. Okay, now see the flowchart. When flowchart will be a pictorial representation where we can analyze the design. Okay, if this is the condition, then it's going on to the left side. If it is not the condition, then it's going to the right side or right tree. But in the sequence, we will not have something like that. It will be like a continuous flow. So that is the difference between flowchart and a sequence. Okay, now let's run this flow and let's see it again. Meanwhile, since I have already opened this, what I can do is I can comment it. So commenting is also possible so that this code will not execute. So I need not open the browser again. So I can right click and I can click on comment. Where do we have comment? Disable activity. So disable activity is what we need to do, and it will add everything into comment section, and we can see that everything is commented out, and it will start from attached browser and extracting the text. That's it, nothing else. We are not selecting anything, we are not getting anything. It's just extracting the text and it's showing me if that contains a or not, and if it contains small a or not. That's it. Let's debug. Now you can see the highlight elements option as well. It's showing. So it's showing that, okay, we have a in it because it has a. Click on OK. Now if I want to generate again, I can click on generate. Let's take something that doesn't have a or that don't contain a. So even this contains a, I hope. Okay, this in this we don't have a. So let's debug this file again. Now whenever we debug, it will attach the browser and it will extract. Let's see. It's extracting. Meanwhile, okay, it extracted. Okay, even here it's showing that I think this is getting recognized as a. But let's try one more time. I think we should be able to get. Okay, so what? Okay, I can type in if it contains Z. I think that will be a better option because we'll not have Z or Z in most of the
Uh,
name.
Anash,
Yes,
so
yes.
for else condition, we are giving the same message if I'm not wrong.
Is it so?
Can you
Maybe
just check
yes.
it?
Yes, maybe I missed it out. Let me check it out. Okay, yes, you are correct. We have, okay, we don't have in it. Thank you so much for the help. And let's click on OK and let's make debug and let's see. Okay, we have A in it, but I think we changed it to flow decision. If it contains Z, then why is it checking for Z? Okay, let's generate again. And okay, see, I have said that we can keep breakpoints, right? And you can see here the execution trail. I have said you that there will be an execution trail. How did it execute? It started and it went into web and it executed false statement. Okay. And let's click on save and let's execute and let's see. Okay, so we don't have a in it, though I have placed Z, but I wrote the message as a. So this is how it's coming. Now, if I pass this execution or if I pass this true statement, then it will go into the left side of the flow. So that is the difference or major difference between a flow chart or a sequence. Let's assume that I keep everything in a single sequence. Now later, if I want to see, I will not be able to understand when we are doing with large projects. We will not be able to understand what exactly is the code and why is it written. Okay, so the better option is to use the appropriate sequence or flowchart or state machine when it is required. You can get or to understand it when you practice. We can say that day one is a workflow rather than a sequence. Say a sequence is a set of activities and even this workflow is a way of representation. But here, this day2 is a file that can be named as a workflow. Okay, is this reusable? Yes. Once I create a workflow, I can reuse it at any place. For example, let's close this, or let's delete this data scraping, which I don't require. Now, if I want to call data day2 from main file, can I do that? Yes, it's very easy. Okay, you can directly go into project and check with day2, just drag and drop. This is one method. The second method is there is an option called invoke workflow. Okay, invoke workflow file. So this is also the same activity, but UiPath provided us whenever we drop, it actually creates the workflow at the activity and actually maps it. But if I want to do it manually, yes, I can do that. I can create day2 and I can even work with this. Okay, let's start with debug. Now, when I click on debug, I think we should see this. Yes, I should see a message A in it. Okay, so this is executed. You can see the execution trail. And when you open the workflow here, you have two options: import arguments and open workflow. See, import arguments is completely a different scenario that we can discuss later, but open workflow will actually open that particular workflow or sequence or a file. Okay, there should be some starting point for this project to run. So this is the starting point, which is named as main. Even if I want to change this as so, if I want to rename, I can just click on that particular workflow and press on F2. You can change it to main work. Even this works, but in this I need to make sure that this is a start, set as main page. Okay, once I set as main page, then whenever I click on start, it will start with the run file. So whatever activities that are generated, this is the code, nothing else. But if you want to open something in, okay, if let's say that there is this particular folder and I want to see what code is it, I can directly click and open with Notepad and I can directly see the code. See, everything will be in an XML format. If you are able to read and understand it, it's fine, but you need not do it. Properties, there is something called in the target timeout and wait for ready. So in this wait for ready, it will have three options. It will check or wait for no time, or it will not wait for anything, and it will try to execute as soon as it starts, or the flow comes to the execution, or this particular activity comes to the execution. Interactive, it will wait till the page loads, and if it is wait for ready complete, it will wait till the complete page loads. Not only this particular H3 activity, it will wait for the complete page to load. So that is the difference. And the target to become ready. Okay, none does not wait for the target. Interactive wait only the part of the app is loaded. Completely wait for the entire app to be loaded. Okay, that is the difference. And even in the timeout, we have default timeout as 30 seconds for each and every activity. Like if I start this activity and if the execution comes to H3, it will wait 30 seconds for that H3 to be available. And if there is no H3 for 30 seconds, then it will throw exception. Till then, it will not throw exception. Let's run the flow. Now I don't have Internet Explorer open, and I did not have the code because I commented it. Now see, it's waiting for 30 seconds. Now I'll manually paste and I will press enter. Now whenever I press enter, then it will fetch the value. Till then it will wait. Okay. So let's see with this, it's trying to get H3 execution. Now it extracted. Okay, even when it is not available, it's waiting 30 seconds so that the element gets to be available on that particular screen. Till then it will wait. If the element is not available for 30 seconds, then by default it will fail. For example, I will show you how it can be failed. I'm keeping only 1 second and I'm closing this. Now if I debug it again, now I'm taking time, I am trying to log in, I'm trying to load, and I'm pressing enter. Okay, now why did it wait? Because it waited for the attached browser. Attached browser also has 30 seconds timeout. Now if I try to change here, then it will not wait even for the attached browser. What happened exactly is it waited for 30 seconds in attached browser. As soon as it got attached browser, it waited only 1 second and it got the value. But when I change this timeout to 1 second, even now it will not wait even for this attached browser. Okay, let's close. Let's debug. And meanwhile, let me open this. Okay, see here, attached browser generate page could not find UA element. That fake name generator is not available. We are extracting H3. Now let's try to extract some other value instead of H3. So that's what the requirement, the question is asked. Okay, so here let's try for this particular 35 dimension. So all I need to do is edit the selector, indicate element, and I can click on address. Now when I click on address, it will show me that particular details, parent ID, and it's selecting this particular CSS selector. For now, let's continue, but I will say in the next class how exactly can we use the best selectors, or how I can use the selectors that will always match. Okay, now as you have requested, I've changed the selector which I can directly do. Now if I click on generate again, it will create a new name. Let's check if it executes now or not. So it need to extract 25. Yep, so we don't have small a in it, which is giving us the result.